This is Marshall Dwayne Williams, and you're watching Bizarre Bazaar.
Hello, and welcome back to Bizarre Bazaar. And in this episode, we speak with inmate Marshall Dwayne Williams. Marshall's story is full of intense situations. It begins with him murdering his stepfather with a pipe bomb. But I'm going to let Marshall tell you what happened. But I need to stress that Marshall's views are his and do not reflect my own. Before we start, if you want to write to inmates like I do, then use the service I use. It's called J-Mail. It's fast and it's secure, and it means you don't have to use your home address. That's the main reason why I like it. I get physical letters sent to my house, but I don't have to give the inmates my address. I'll leave a link to their services in the description below. Just go check out the website. And if you want to support the channel, please drop the video a like and subscribe if you're new. And if you really want to show your support, consider becoming a channel member for members only live streams and updates. Links to this are in the description below.
My name is Marshall Dwayne Williams, and in 1984, I returned from my service and tour in the Marine Corps, and I soon found out that my stepfather had been abusing my mother and soon molested my stepson, so I decided to blow him up with a bomb. In this way,
This call is from a federal prison.
at the time, I felt that I was doing good service to the community, and later on in the case, the Congress ordered me to be, United States Congress ordered me to be released from prison and reduced the sentence custody. So the government decided that they didn't want to do it because of some other issues that were coming forward. They had other people that were being unlawfully held in prison, like Manuel Noriega, the John Pollard, the spy from Israel, and this law that they enacted affected all these people, including some Russian spies. So because I used a bomb, I fell under that category, and the government decided not to release me and not to enforce the law. And later on, as time went by and my appeals fell through, I decided to take some additional action. So I studied the law carefully and found out the elements of the law allowed me to actually try to get attention by committing additional federal offenses. So I mailed some additional hoax bomb letters, and I mailed some hoax anthrax letters, hoax nuclear waste letters to federal officials and various groups and organizations and businesses and such, and to try to get charged. And when the government dismissed those charges against me, I looked further into the law and found out that it authorized me to kidnap people. So I kidnapped a U.S. Secret Service agent and held him hostage to try to get attention for the case. And when the government dismissed that charge against me, I kidnapped a Kentucky state congressman and held him hostage in the jail. And then when the government dismissed that charge against me, rather than let me talk to the jury, I hijacked an airliner full of prisoners and flew it from Oklahoma City to Hartsfield International Airport in Atlanta, Georgia, in the United States. And subsequently, the government also dismissed those charges against me and refused to let me see the jury. And that pretty much is the situation. I would, like in future episodes, I would really like to explain to you and your audience about how I had sent these bombs, how I had packaged the bombs up, and how I had mailed them to these different agencies and what the response was, how I kidnapped the Secret Service agent and the details of that, how I kidnapped the congressman and held him hostage, and the details also of how I had hijacked the airliner. I would also look forward in future episodes to explaining the details of the conspiracy and how the parole commission is involved and embezzling hundreds of millions of dollars from the American taxpayers in a scheme to hold thousands of people unlawfully in American prisons, including U.S. citizens and foreign nationals. And these people have been unlawfully held, including myself, for over 25 years in American prisons.
I appreciate that, and there is absolutely loads to cover. And I definitely want to go for this as well. I just think we should start at the beginning with the murder of your stepfather. Please, can you tell us more?
I was born in Texas, and I'm 58 years old, and grew up on a farm with cows and agricultural environment. And I was taught that we're supposed to stand up for truth and justice and freedom and all these principles, So that's when I became 18 years old, got married to this girl, and we subsequently got divorced because of the lengthy prison sentence that I have. But when I was 19, I went in the United States Marine Corps, and
This call is from a federal prison.
I was assigned to the Amphibious Assault Battalion and got some training in there. And then I signed up for courses for explosive ordnance disposal, and was in the process of transitioning into the specialty bomb areas. And I was subsequently discharged about December the 1st, 1983. And when I went home, I found out that my stepfather was severely beating my mother. He was an alcoholic. He had been married to her only a year before. And it was somewhat of a nuclear family incident. And the guy was very abusive. And we got in a physical altercation. Of course, me wanting to protect my family, I assaulted him. And we had some family problems. And it wasn't but a few weeks after that, after he had quit drinking for a while and then he started drinking again, that I had my mother look into his wallet and found out that he was in the American Ku Klux Klan, and that he was a Grand Titan. That for the Ku Klux Klan, a Grand Titan, there's only have usually one in each state, so he was a very powerful person. And I also found out that he was an informant for the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and that the FBI was using him to gain information and to control the Ku Klux Klan in the state of Texas. So I was quite worried, that some harm might come to my family, either from retribution against this guy or from something, that could happen. So it wasn't a few weeks later, he molested my son, and I walked in on him while he was masturbating, and we got in a fist fight, and I slipped on the rug and fell down, and he ran out of the room and down through the hallway and out to the car and jumped in. And before I could get the shotgun to blast him, he was in the car and taking off before I could get some shells in the gun. And I was acting in anger, so I thought to myself, well, it's better to calm myself down and try to handle this in a different way so I wouldn't get in any trouble for it, but I should also protect the community. And since I had just got out of the Marine Corps, for some reason I thought that I should blow the guy up with a bomb, and then of course the suspicion would be off of me and on to the Ku Klux Klan, So that's the course that I decided to take. Basically, the plan was to put this bomb in a newsstand away from any populated area across this parking lot that was empty. And he went there alone every morning at 5:30 a.m. So I built the weapon out of regular pipe and put end caps on it and taped a mouse trap to the top and filled it with gunpowder. And when I was sure that no one else was around to the newsstand, I placed a bomb in there carefully and was watching closely. Then the bomb exploded and killed Mr. Keaton. I felt elated and sad at the same time.
This call is from a federal prison.
I felt like I had protected my family and the community, but I also felt sad that I had to go to such extreme measures.
Something I want to ask is, how did you know your stepdad was going to be the one to open the newsstand?
Okay. I was very careful to watch his movement, and he came to that newsstand every morning at 5:15 a.m. and no one else was around. It was all the way across the parking lot. So in this way, I could keep everyone safe. Rather than put the bomb in his car, which I couldn't control where the car would be, I could have put it in his apartment, but I couldn't control the shrapnel going through the wall and possibly injuring someone else or starting a fire. So the safest way, most professional, and the cleanest way is to keep everyone safe and to put it into the newspaper box away from the population. He would come out of his apartment and walk across long parking lot over to the edge of a grassy field where there were newsstands. I was standing about 50 yards away, 50 meters away from the incident. And when I saw him coming alone to the stand, I stepped behind the building and watched the explosion.
Well, was there anything left?
Not much.
Okay, so you said you felt happy and sad, but what happens like an hour after the murder?
Basically, I went home and was grateful that I was able to see my family, and I ate a bowl of cereal and watched it on the news. And then my cousin came to court and testified that I ate cereal and watched it on the news. And they tried to make me seem like that was a cold thing to blow someone up and then eat a bowl of cereal. So, you know, the government tries to show that you're negative in every way, you know, rather than try to show the positive.
Unfortunately, those beeps you heard meant it was the end of the phone call, and he went into lockdown for the rest of the day. We will pick this up right where we left off in the next episode. Marshall wants me to share a link with you to a website where he tells us his side of events about the government conspiracy. I'll leave a link to this in the description below. Until next time, stay sane.